Ok. Come faccio a togliermi io qua?
Okay, I close. Sorry, I prefer to close some documents because I don't want to. Ah, yes. Okay.
Già,
Okay, I share my screen.
yes.
Okay, can you see the slides?
Yes.
Okay.
Aspetta che ti metto qua. Ok. Mettiamo Alessio qua sopra. Ok.
Okay.
Great.
I have been asked to explain how Marie Skłodowska-Curie doctoral networks work. So I will introduce you to the this specific action of the program Horizon Europe and give you some information about the open call. Okay. Obviously, if you have questions and we have time, I will be happy to answer your questions. And in the next days, the same. Okay. Okay. As I told you, the doctoral networks are one of the action of the Marie Skłodowska-Curie action, which is one of the part of the Horizon Europe framework program. That is the EU program dedicated to research and innovation. Okay, and all Marie Skłodowska-Curie actions are dedicated to promote the excellence of researchers and to enhance the research, European research area. Okay, some key features of all Marie Skłodowska-Curie actions, which includes also, for instance, the individual fellowship, the excellence, because the objective, the aim is to improve the excellence of researchers through training, supervision, career guidance, usually. Typical of Marie Skłodowska-Curie is the mobility, the physical mobility. All action or almost all action are based on the mobility of researchers from one country to another one. It is one line of the Horizon Europe open to all domains, all research disciplines. So they have a bottom-up approach. They are open to all subject and research scope or subject, okay? Intersectorality, mobility, and the cooperation between academia and industry or non-academic sector is important for the Marie Skłodowska-Curie actions. And obviously, they have a strong international dimension, all the actions, I mean. As concerned the doctoral networks, which is one of the type of the actions, they are actually doctoral program managed by a partnership, a consortium of organizations from different sectors across Europe and even from other countries. And they go, they have the aim to train high-skilled doctoral candidates, okay, to stimulate the creativity, enhance their innovation capacity, and to boost their employability. So the doctoral programs we have to propose, they must answer or respond to the well-identified needs in your research area, to expose researchers to, I mean, the doctoral candidates to the academic and non-academic sectors, if relevant, and to offer a training program in all research-related topics, but also in transferable skills like entrepreneurship, communication, intellectual property rights, communication, outreach activities. What are the expected outcomes of doctoral networks? First of all, it is important to support the doctoral candidates and to gain the skills and the competencies to improve their career prospects in the future, within the academia or also outside the academia. It depends on your program, obviously. The second outcome is to provide new knowledge and to provide the candidates with new knowledge exactly, so that they are able to conceive new ideas or to convert the ideas into products and services. The third one is to increase the opportunity of networking of doctoral candidates in view of their career, and also to improve their communication capacities, both with the academic public and with the general public. Okay, so that research has a stronger impact on scientific community as well as in the society and the economy. For all organizations involved in the doctoral programs, the expected outcome at the end of the project is to improve the quality of the doctoral training program and the supervision methods, to enhance the cooperation and transfer of knowledge between sector and disciplines, to increase the integration among the organizations, to boost their research and innovation capacity, to increase the visibility at international level, and to get regular feedback of research results into teaching and education. So these are the expected outcome of a doctoral network. Here I list some key features. They are common to all doctoral networks. First one, sorry. First one is the establishment of a supervisory board, which is a consortium body to coordinate the network training and research activities at the network level, and in particular the supervision activities. Okay, this is meant to guarantee the quality of the training program. Then another key feature are the training activities, because they are the core of the project. And when we speak of training, we are not just speaking about the traditional courses in a doctoral program within a room, but we are also speaking of events organized by the network, like conferences, summer schools, or also training doing research under the supervision of supervisors. So while they carry out their research project under supervision, they learn and they acquire skills they need for the future career. Okay, and training activities should be also focused on transferable skills, competencies. They are common to all fields and sectors, and they should foster also the culture of open science. That means to enable the researchers to manage research data, make them available, to make publication openly accessible by the public or by other colleagues, and to improve the dialogue with the society. Another key feature is the secondment. Many training programs include a period spent in another organization. These secondments should be encouraged when relevant, feasible, and beneficial. So just imagine one doctoral candidate enrolled in Verona, but who's going to spend a period, let's say, of 2 months or 4 months in another private organization, for instance, an NGO, or in another university, okay, to carry out some research activities, as well as to get some training. Supervision is the key feature together with supervisory board. That means the quality of supervision, mentoring arrangements, career guidance are pivotal in our doctoral program. And joint supervision of researchers is mandatory for industry and joint doctorates. I will explain that later. And the last key feature is the career development plan. When one doctoral candidate is enrolled in this doctoral program, the candidate should establish together with the supervisor a plan to improve their career in the future. And this plan should include research objectives, researchers training, and career needs. Okay. Who can apply for a doctoral network? The doctoral networks are open to international consortia of universities, research institutions, businesses, companies, small medium enterprises, and other non-academic organizations like NGO. At minimum, the minimal form of doctoral network includes 3 independent legal entities, that means 3 organizations, established either in the EU member states or Horizon associated countries. Okay, and at least one of them should be established in an EU member state. Okay, Horizon Europe associated countries are countries they have signed the agreement together with the European Union to be included in the Horizon Europe framework program. And just to let you know, all Balkans countries are associated to the program. Okay. In addition, you can have other beneficiaries. That means a legal entity that receives funding from the EU, from either member states, associated countries, or low middle income countries, for instance, from Africa or Asia. There is a list, official list of countries. And in addition, on the top, other organizations from any country in the world can also join as associated partner, as long as they have a specific role in the project, okay? All beneficiaries, that means all legal entities receiving directly the grant from the European Union, must have a gender equality plan. If they are public bodies, higher education establishment, or research organization from member states and associated countries. Okay, they must have this gender equality plan at the moment of the grant agreement signature, not at the moment of the call application. But usually, currently, I think most or almost all universities and research organizations in Europe, they have a gender equality plan in place. Okay, I've spoken, I have made a difference between beneficiaries and associated partners. Then they have some different roles. Just the beneficiaries can and must recruit researchers. That means the doctoral candidates. And just the beneficiaries claim directly the unit contributions to the European Union and receive directly from the European Union the grant. Okay, both beneficiaries and associated partner are involved in training activities, or they host seconded researchers and they take part in the supervisory board. Okay, I stress this point. Each beneficiary must recruit, host, and premises and supervise at least one researcher. That means one doctoral student, doctoral candidate. We have 3 types of doctoral networks. The first one is the regular, let's say, doctoral networks. That is the basic form. Okay. And what I have said until now is valid for the regular doctoral networks. Okay. Joint supervision is encouraged but not required. The duration of a project is of 4 years, and they can hire and enroll globally up to 360 person months. That means, for instance, they can enroll 10 people with a fellowship of 36 months each. Okay. In a regular doctoral network, secondments can be performed everywhere in the world, but up to 1/3 of the fellowship duration. Then we have the industrial doctorates. It is the same as the regular one, but we have a mandatory involvement of non-academic sector in the doctoral training and the joint supervision from both entities involved from academic and non-academic sectors. Because in this case, the doctoral candidates will spend half time in a non-academic sector, okay? By non-academic sector, I mean not only the industrial partners, let's say the private for-profit organizations like companies, but they could be also NGO, charity organization, hospital. It depends on how they are registered at the European Union. Okay, the duration is still 4 years, but in this case, the total amount of person months is up to 540. That means the European Union want to improve to sustain the industrial doctorates. Okay, and in this case, you can have, for instance, 15 persons, not 10, involved with a fellowship of 36 months. Okay. Joint doctorates are the same as the regular one, but they have these additional requirements. They must lead to the delivery of a joint, double, or multiple doctoral degree. Okay, that means each doctoral candidate at the end must be entitled to receive either a joint doctoral degree, that means a unique, a single diploma issued by at least 2 higher education institutions, okay? And this diploma must be recognized in both countries, or a double, multiple degree, that means 2 or more separate national diplomas issued by each of the 2 or more higher education institutions. And this diploma must be recognized officially in their countries, okay? In joint doctorates, joint selection and supervision of the 2 entities awarding the double or joint degree are mandatory. And for that reason, even a pre-agreement for joint or double degree is required at the application stage. The duration of this doctoral network is still 4 years, and like in the industrial doctorate, you can hire more people, up to 15 people for a fellowship of 36 months. Okay. As concerned the secondment, since we are delivering a joint or double degree, the doctoral candidates are expected to spend a period in the second awarding institution, entity awarding the degree. And the period of this secondment depends on the internal rules to be eligible to receive the doctoral degree and defend the doctoral thesis. Okay. The typical mechanism in place in this case is that of co-tutor with joint or double degree, to be clear. All doctoral candidates are selected with an open, transparent, and merit-based procedure, which is defined by the doctoral program, okay, and presented in the application. And it must be in line with the code of conduct for the recruitment of researchers. The vacancy notice, that means the call for positions, should be widely advertised at the international level and posted on your Access website. And when you publish the positions, you must include the gross salary of each researcher without the employer social contribution. Okay. Who can apply as a doctoral candidate for a doctoral network? First of all, these PhD candidates must not have already a doctoral degree at the date of their recruitment. They can be of any nationality, and they must be enrolled in the doctoral program during the project. This is mandatory for all type of doctoral networks. And most importantly, there is a mobility rule. Okay, each PhD candidate must not have resided, lived, or carried out their main activity, work, study in the country of the recruiting organization for not more of 12 months in the 3 years before the recruitment date. What does it mean? Let's imagine that within the doctoral program, there is an open position for a PhD candidate enrolled by the University of Verona. Okay, so just people that they have not lived in Italy for more than 12 months in the 3 years before the expected recruitment date can apply for that position. Okay, they can even be Italian as for nationality, but they must have not lived in Italy for more than 12 months in the last 3 years. Okay, so usually you have an international pool of candidates coming to your organization. Okay, these are the eligibility of PhD candidates as established by the European Commission, but the doctoral network can add some additional restrictions if they are necessary, for instance, for the research program or for internal national regulations. Just to imagine, if you want to be enrolled in a doctoral network on Italian literature in Italy, probably you will need to be able to speak Italian. Okay. If your country requires that in order to be enrolled in that PhD program, you need to have a specific master of degree. You must specify in the call for open positions what are the expected field of master of degree, okay, for this position. As concerned the budget, the EU contribution is self-calculated and based on person months of the recruited researcher for each beneficiary. They include 2 types of contributions. One part is dedicated to the recruited researcher, and one part is for the institutions involved in the program. As concerned the contribution for the researchers, let's say the salary, we have 3 main components. The living allowance, it is 3,400 euro brutto with a country correction coefficient, plus 600 euro of mobility allowance, which is due for the entire fellowship, for the whole duration of the fellowship, okay? Just because they are moving from one country to another one, not for the secondment. And if they have a family, I don't enter now in the definition, but if they have family duties, let's say, they receive additional 660 euro per month, okay? The mobility and family allowance don't have country correction coefficient, okay? Then we have 2 additional allowances, okay? The fourth is the long-term leave allowance, which is due just during the program if the researcher has to suspend the fellowship for important reasons like maternity or long-term illness or other similar situations. And the last one is special needs. If the recruited researchers has some special needs, they need some support, for instance, for some disabilities, they need some equipment, or they need some support by one person, okay. These 2 are defined during the program and together with the European Union, case by case. sorry. As concerned the institutional unit contribution, okay, we each beneficiary receive 1,600 euro per person month, okay, to cover all costs related to research, training, networking, to organize the events, to go to conferences, to publish open access, and so on. And 1,200 euro per person month for all management and indirect contribution. Okay. So the EU contribution is self-calculated. There is no need to make some strange calculations, and it is fixed at the end of the program when you are able to demonstrate how many researchers you have recruited and how long they have been active in the doctoral program. Okay. Obviously, within the consortium, you can decide to rearrange some part of management or indirect contribution, for instance, just to cover some cost of the associated partners, or to have a common pot to cover common costs, or to hire one person to manage the project, which is a quite common solution. There is one relevant financial issue I want to mention. If you are going to apply for a doctor network, we can enter more in details about it. You remember that salary, the living allowance, depends on the country correction coefficient. Okay, here on the right, you see the country correction coefficient of the GeoBalkans countries. I hope I haven't forgot any country. So Italy received quite the entire amount because it is 97.4%. Greece, something more than 80%, but Serbia, for instance, 57.7%, and North Macedonia about half of the allowance. That means about half of 3,400 euro. Okay, country correction coefficients are introduced to consider how much the living costs in that countries. Okay. What happens when one fellow, which is recruited in Italy without the family allowance, will receive approximately 3,900 euro per month, brutto. Okay, so all social charges included, both by employers and employees. One fellow recruited in North Macedonia without a family allowance will receive 2,323 euro per month brutto. Okay, so this is a huge difference. It wouldn't be a big problem if they would stay just respectively in Italy and North Macedonia. But since enjoying doctorates, they need to move to another country because they need to spend some period, usually about 1 year, in a second country. Probably the fellowship of the fellow recruited in North Macedonia is very poor to live, for instance, in Italy. Okay. The only solution at the moment, it is to have a consecutive recruitment. That means, for instance, the fellow is recruited in North Macedonia for the first period spent in North Macedonia, and then when it is going to go to Italy, it is recruited by the Italian institution during the secondment. This is which is from the administrative viewpoint quite, I want to say complex, but not so easy as it is for sure a burden, bureaucratic burden for everybody there. Here you have an overview of the call. Okay, this is a table from the guide for applicants. And just some information about the 2022 call. Okay, the call is already open on the funding and tenders portal of the European Union. Here you have the link. For this call, we have a total budget of 428 million of euro. And the deadline will be the 15th of November at 5 o'clock Brussels time. Funding notification of funding is scheduled by April 2023, and the signature of grant agreement by July 2023. Okay, and they have already scheduled to have a coordinators day in autumn 2023, which is the meeting with all coordinators of doctoral networks. Here you have the link to all important documents, Marie Skłodowska Action Work Program, the call page on funding tender portals, the guide. These three are very, very important. Okay. General annexes, they include some additional information about eligibility or evaluation. Here you can download the proposal template and the instructions. Here you have the specific evaluation form used by the expert evaluators. And here you have the list of funded projects in the previous call, but for the moment there are just 3 projects because they haven't yet started. They haven't started yet, sorry. Some statistics in the last call, the 2021, which was the first one in Horizon Europe. The European Union has received 1,076 proposals. There are 897 doctoral, regular one, 101 industrial, and 78 joint doctorates. 5 of them were ineligible or inadmissible, or they have been withdrawn. And 916 have received a score above the threshold, which is 70%, 70 points. Okay. And the total number of funded proposals is 144. That means they have funded 116 doctoral networks, 18 industrial doctorates, and 10 joint doctorates. So the success rate is 13.44%. Okay, here you have a link with a press office communication by the Research Executive Agency with more information, further information about the outcomes of the call. Here we have a big table about the scores, the cutoff score for funding. I just want to highlight this one. To get funding, you need to receive 70 points at least. Okay, 70 up to 100. Okay, but indeed, to get really funded, you need to get higher scores. Like, for instance, in the panel SOC, that is Society, Social Sciences and Humanities, you needed to receive 88.8 to get funded. Okay. Here you have the number of proposals received by each of the 8 scientific panels. Okay. GHE is chemistry, economics, engineering, environmental sciences, life sciences, mathematics, physics, and society and humanities. So in your case, the last column is the most important one. Okay. I'm perfect. Half an hour just to give you all instruction. Here you have my contact details, email, and the email of my unit and the website. So I'm here for your questions because I was very quick and probably I haven't said everything. There are more eligibility rules, more regulation, probably more information, but This is just to give you one information. I forgot to say the most important one, probably. Do you remember the discussion about the master degree? I remember that in Belgrade. Okay. We are not speaking about establishing a new doctoral school, doctoral course to be submitted to the ministries for qualification or recognition. Because the doctoral candidates are enrolled in already existing PhD program. We are just speaking about of networking, putting together different doctoral programs with the competencies of other organizations, if relevant, to offer an additional training to PhD candidates.
Ok.
I think this can be a problem for us.
Devi parlare al microfono, se no non ti sento.
I have the impression that this can be a problem actually for us because not all the university already has PhD programs, or do they have? Skopje doesn't, the phone doesn't have a PhD program yet.
Okay, and does Skopje has a cooperation with another North Macedonian university for a PhD program or something like that? Because not all if you are speaking about the joint doctorate, not all universities must be PhD awarding institution.
Okay.
The minimum is 3.
Yeah, I saw that. 3. We can, let's say, if we proceed with diversity.
No.
No, non va bene. Maybe we can be included as a beneficiary or the
Associated.
Associated partner.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have 2 solutions for you. The first one is to be just an associated partner. That means you are able to host researchers, and you are able to contribute to the training program. And if there are internal arrangements, you can receive from the consortium some part of the funding, but you cannot receive directly from the European Union the funding. Okay.
Okay. Via the.
Okay. This is the first one. This is the easiest way to include, for instance, your university. But the second option, which is not so difficult to probably, is that you recruit the researcher, but you have your researcher enrolled in the PhD program of another Macedonian university, for instance.
Okay. No, this was a question. Okay, I'm not sure for the second option. The first one is more, let's say, yeah.
And let's do that. We create this consortium, and Skopje is just associated partner. Would that title be recognized in that case by Macedonian state, the PhD title? Maybe not. So maybe the person should apply for the recognition after that he or she has a title.
Is it a question for me?
Yes. Sí.
No. I don't think so. Probably the recognition of PhD program is a longer procedure probably in each country, like in Italy. So you cannot use the doctoral network to have at the same time recognize a PhD program in your institution by your ministry. If you want to enter as associated partner, maybe you can express that it is a first step in that process. So let's say the University of Skopje has a long-term plan to establish a PhD program, and just to start and to gain some experience about supervision and so on, is going to be included as associated partner in that doctoral network. Okay.
Yeah. They meant to apply for the accreditation, maybe even this semester, the following one, that is the fall semester from September on, but I'm not sure. For now, Skopje doesn't have a PhD program. I wanted to ask Alessio, what is your viewing on, let's say, you mentioned 3 types of...
yes, doctoral, the regular one, the industrial, and the joint doctorate.
And, let's say you know more or less GeoBalkans. What is your view on the most appropriate for network for our consortium, for our project? Should we opt for the industrial one? Because you also said that the European Union tries to enforce these applications.
I'm not sure if industrial is a correct one for GeoBalkans, because yes, non-academic sector includes also NGOs and hospital and so on. But you should be you must think that your PhD candidates should be able to find a career, a job after the doctoral program in the NGOs. And they should also want to find a job in NGOs, okay? In that case, your doctoral program should be really focused on prepare them to work in NGOs or another institution. Is it the case? Do you think that your possible candidates are interested in that career prospects, or do you think they would prefer to stay in the academia? Okay. And in addition, I think it is more convenient to the industrial doctorate for sectors like biology, chemistry, physics, because they spend some period in the labs of a private company. And they have in mind to find their job at the end in a pharmaceutical company or something like that, this is the typical case.
Okay.
I'm not sure the industrial one is the perfect case for you.
Because
between the regular and the joint doctorate, it's quite difficult to decide. I can tell you the joint doctorate is quite difficult to manage, because you have to combine all internal, national and European regulation that have impact on the doctoral program. Okay. The regular one is the easiest network. But very often, very often in the humanities, they prefer to have a joint doctorate. Okay. So I'm not sure I can suggest you which one of the two is the best for GeoBalkans at the moment. Maybe the joint doctorate seems to be more in line with your intention to increase the cooperation among research academic institutions. Sorry.
I didn't well understand which are, in your opinion.
Well, joint doctorate, even though they are more complex from the administrative point of view, it seems to me to be more in line with the idea of GeoBalkans to improve the competencies of the institution, academic institution in the Balkan area. But I wouldn't exclude the regular one.
But
in any case, also for the regular doctoral networks, you need to involve the PhD candidates in a doctoral program. Okay. This is mandatory.
Do you have some examples of successful experience, just to give us
You mean applications, or you mean the example of projects, funded projects?
Projects that have been realized?
Okay, I have one in humanities. There is the Elite Network. I can send you some links, which is about empirical literature, but it is still in humanities, and it is a joint doctoral program funded by the previous framework program, Horizon 2020. Okay. And one network in humanities has been funded in humanities in this goal, but they are still signing the grant agreement, so I don't know if they have published any communication about it. And in this case, it is a regular network, even though it is about digital humanities. I have also some other example of the doctoral networks in other sectors, but probably you are more interested in humanities or social sciences. You can have a look on the Cordis website. I can give you a link with all the list of doctoral networks, ITN they were called, of 2020, Horizon 2020. Yes, in all sectors.
Just to have an idea of that may,
But
works.
sorry, one moment. I
there
checked
are ways
Elite Network, for instance.
to understand.
I give you this link. I show you the website now. No. I just put here in the chat, but I can send you later. This is the website of the Elite Network.
Generally, have one university where the project is fairly made, and the other are the partners for the secondments, or do they have different? Just to understand.
Just to give you an idea, this is a typical doctoral network. Here you have the consortium. Sorry, we have 10 universities and 13 partner organizations. Here is the list. Okay, so Verona, Die Freie in Berlin, Radboud University in the Netherlands, Vienna, Warsaw, Haifa, Amsterdam, Basel, and Stavanger in Norway, and Trnava in Slovakia. And so they are all involved in double, usually, or joint degree. And there are also some associate partner organizations. Okay, they are now called associated. They are usually NGOs or research performing institution about reading and literature. Okay. Here you have the structure of the research program. Okay, with a presentation of the content. So from the research viewpoint, you still have a common research program, and each recruited fellow has a specific individual research project. Here you have the list of the individual research projects. Okay, you can just have a look, and you have the supervisor, and this one is the co-supervisor for. So, for instance, the first one is supervised by Arthur Jacobs from Vienna, if I remember. Roel Willems is from Radboud University. So you have the list of individual research projects. Here you have the list of supervisors. So they are all faculty of the different universities. For Verona, it is
What it was Salgaro, yes.
Sagaro. So if you need to have
So
a
we can ask
contact,
him.
okay, and there are non-academic partners. Here we have a list, and researchers. They are the recruited doctoral candidates. Okay.
Where are they recruited from? That was my idea. So there has to be a university that is this, that is the administrative, make the administrative staff, or are they recruited in the different universities?
We have had a unique call in this case with the 10 open positions. We have published the call on the project website, on the social networks, and on your access. We have spread the notice about the call, and there were 3 commissions to select the applications and to invite the candidates to interview. Okay, for each position, the 2 supervisors with another one were involved. Okay, and then once established the ranking list, each recruiting organization, that means the position 1 was assigned to Vienna or to Berlin. So the Berlin has contacted the first one in the ranking list and started the recruitment process. You can find all information on the website. I show you. I think now it is no longer available, but let's see. Probably here. If you go to the news and you go to the first news. No. Or let's say because call. Okay, this one. Here you have the call for position, the official call for applications with the presentation. Okay. And at the end of July, the ranking list has been published. You find it here. Okay. So it was a PhD document with just the number of application. Okay. For each position, the number of, for instance, for the first position managed by the Freie Universität Berlin, there were just 2 applicants in this case. And the global score for the first one was 15, the second one 1425. Okay, for the second one, no candidate has reached the score, threshold score, and so on. Okay. And here in June, you have some statistics about the procedure, how many applications they have received, how many by gender, and so on. So the idea in this joint doctorate, since you should be able to have everything joined, even the selection, it is to establish a common call for position, for open positions, try to have the compromise between all internal regulation of all universities. Okay. And so you have a unique procedure, a unique approach for all open positions. Usually the regular doctoral network, the standard one, they don't need to have a unique call for position, but each recruiting organization can follow its own rules and common the way to manage the call for position, as long as they are compliant with the European Union rules. That means they are open, transparent, and merit-based. They are published on your access, and so on and so on. This is from this point of view, you can understand why the joint doctoral network is more complicated than a regular one. Okay.
I think we should close.
Yes, we have the other session at 5, so I don't know if there are. Okay, so at the micro, so Alessio can hear you.
Yes, for Alessio. Thank you, Alessio, very much. Just one question. You said, yes, who can apply? This is the chapter.
Yes,
so
about the institutions or about the...
No, you said the 3 independent organizations.
Okay, the institutions.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's in your presentation.
Yeah, at least.
At least, yes. Established in a different EU member state.
EU member states. Yeah.
EU member state. So in this context, we have Verona and Napoli, 2 Italian universities. So this would be a problem.
No.
No, at all.
The minimum is to have 3 beneficiaries from 3 different countries.
I see.
But you still can have 2 institutions from the same countries in addition. Okay. Let's say GeoBalkans. So we have Italy, Greece, North Macedonia, and Serbia. Okay. You can still have beneficiaries coming from one from Italy, one from Greece, and one from Serbia. Okay. We don't mention North Macedonia for the moment. Since they are 3 different countries, they are 2 European Union member states and 1 associated country, we can still have another institution, even coming from Italy in this case. So don't worry. In the elite network, there are 2 institutions coming from the Netherlands, for instance.
Okay.
In any case, probably GeoBalkans is still a little bit too small for a doctoral network. Maybe you should include other institutions from other countries. Maybe. I don't mean you need to have a big consortium, but probably some more institution is better.
Okay.
Okay. If you agree, I send you the slides. So if you need to consult them tomorrow, I'm sorry I cannot. Tomorrow is a very full day for me, but I don't know if you have any question. You can send me. I can answer by email in the next days.
Okay.
Or we can meet and we can have a discussion. Okay.
Today, because of COVID and other problem, we have recorded, and so I think that question may arrive in a second moment when other people also have seen the recording, and we can discuss between us. Thank you, Alessio, once again for the contribution that you are giving to this project, not only now but also in other moments. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry for not being there. Okay.
Thank you.
Ciao,
Bye.
ciao a tutti.
Okay, I'm stopping the recording.